You're listening to the Chasing Tales Outdoor Podcast, where when you can't be in the outdoors, we bring it to you. Welcome back to the Chasing Tales Outdoor Podcast. My name is Walt. His name is Chase, and every week we come into this podcast with one simple goal, and that is to inspire you, motivate you, and educate you in a way that gets you outside. I don't care what it is. We just want you to be outside. That is our biggest goal. We believe people are their best person, their best self in the outdoors, and we bring you weekly content both on the podcast and our YouTube channel, hoping that it helps you get out there and do more. This week, I am glad to say that I am back on the podcast with Chase. Dude, what's poppin', man?
Oh, man. Well, I just got back from the Florida Keys. Went down there on a vacation with my family and another family in goal of getting some lobster. Never done it. It had been, probably 19 years since I'd been down to the Keys. My wife had never been, so we decided we were going to go down and chase after some lobster. I had my good buddy now, Brandon Ogden. He kind of lives down in that general direction. I started talking with him because I knew he did lobstering and stuff in his area, and he said that he would, and he was only about 45 minutes north from where we were going to be staying at. So he agreed to come on the boat the first day, and you can definitely tell he knows what he's doing, and is one of those guys that can hold his breath forever and dive down as deep as he wants to. So it was good to have him on the boat. We got some lobster. Unfortunately, first dive for me, I ended up blowing out my right eardrum. Very first dive. So I was done as far as lobstering. I mean, as actually getting the lobster. It was my boat and everything, so I'm captain anyway. So it was just as good anyway, seeing them get on lobster, and we enjoyed some lobster down there. Went sightseeing a couple of days, so it was a good trip. Kind of got away from everything. Didn't really tune into anything else podcast wise or Marco Polo or anything like that. So it was a good little break, and back now. And then today, Brandon actually drove up here because we hunt the same piece of public near me, and we went and scouted a couple of areas we found last fall. Put cameras out. He's got a bunch of cell cams, so we went and put out a bunch of cell cams, getting ready for season.
Yeah, dude, you've been busy, man. You've been really busy.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm fixing to be hunting. I mean, it's coming, and it's for me, like the scouting and stuff. I like to really do a lot of in-season scouting more than I like to do postseason and preseason scouting. I mean, I'll get out there, just kind of make sure some of my historical areas are kind of looking the same, and maybe find some new areas. But I really enjoy the in-season scouting aspect of it. I think you're more on top of things. There's so much that's even going to happen between now and when the velvet comes off for these deer, which aren't far for me. I mean, they could be coming off any day now, maybe in the next couple of weeks. The velvet will start coming off. Bucks will start getting out of their bachelor groups and kind of getting their core areas. And then that's really when I dial in, and that's when I'll be out a ton, just scouting, checking cameras, and hunting, man. I'm looking forward to it. It can't get here soon enough.
No, I agree, man. We're going to blink and it's going to be here. It's felt like an eternity for me on parental leave here, which I adore my son to no end. Anybody who knows me knows that's true. But I am chomping at the bit to hit a routine and start getting in the woods routinely. In fact, we did this past weekend. I guess this is an imperfect segue, but guys, if you're part of the Patreon channel, you should go check out Patreon. Send me a message if you want this. But Brett Mashburn drove down, dude, last Sunday, and he and I went and scouted the piece of property that we will be hunting for the first ever Patreon hunt. And boy, was it a blast. Not only was it good just to get outside, but everything we've always thought about Brett Mashburn is true. I mean, the dude's a stud.
Yeah, he definitely is. Him and I have our own little Marco Polo chat called Big Buck Slayers, and we go back and forth on that quite a bit. and he was asking me a couple. I need to get back to him actually. He was asking me some stuff about the Patreon hunt coming up and some of the scouting that he did, and maybe where the deer will kind of be that time of year, things like that. So a great guy, definitely lives and breathes deer hunting 365. So it's always good to have a buddy like that you can go back and forth with all year round about deer hunting.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think there's also like, I don't know how to say this without it sounding badly, so you guys forgive me if I botch this on the first attempt. But there's like different types of deer hunters, and finding someone who's like you can sometimes be difficult. You know, like the age old phrase that it's the hardest thing to do is to find a good hunting partner, and it's not necessarily because anybody's bad. It's just not everybody has your style. But man, every time I was like, dude, let's jump into this thick overgrown area and see what's on the other side, Brett was like, before I could finish the sentence, already in the bushes and crawling in there. So, it was great to have someone who, kind of shared the same curiosity for the outdoors while you were out there. So it's a good thing. But we got a video up. It is a private invite video only, so you can't share it because we're trying not to share the Patreon exclusive content. So if you want this and you're a Patreon member, you need to shoot me a message with your email. I'll send you an invite. We'll get you hooked up to where you can watch that scouting trip. And we're not done. We're going to do a couple more. Whether Brett can make it every time or not, Brett is going to come back down and help me scout it maybe one or two more times. And I'm going to be going up there a lot. And I hunt this WMA before the hunt. So between the 9 trail cameras that we've got up there, the boots on the ground, Craig Kroom donating an enormous amount of resources to make this hunt happen. Brett, obviously donating his time and money to drive down there. This is going to be a really good time. And if you're interested in getting together with what I think, and Chase, I know I do this thing where I hype things up, but I think that our Patreon group is the best group of outdoorsmen ever. Just the willingness to help people, the information that everybody can bring together. It's always positive. It's always funny. I'm the butt of every joke, rightfully so. It's a great thing. If you want to join those guys for an early January deer hunt, consider going to Patreon. The money from that goes to allowing us to do more. We don't take money out of this for profit. We are putting that money back into travel expenses, which you've got some awesome things lined up, hosting fees, camera equipment, all that kind of stuff that makes this podcast operate. And you get a chance to win cool gear 4 times a year. And if you sign up between now and the end of September, you could win a Vortex rangefinder. Brand new. Cannot wait to give this to somebody.
Yeah, that Vortex rangefinder. We found that there was maybe a need for a rangefinder through I think it was the Marco Polo group or Patreon.
It was Patreon
app,
yep.
And we decided, hey, why not use this time to put a rangefinder out there, and in September, one of our Patreon members is going to be getting a nice Vortex rangefinder.
Just in time for deer season, man. I
Yep.
mean, how about it? So it's a great group, guys. We'd love to have you over there. Depending on the tier, you can get put into our Marco Polo video chat group where everybody kind of crowdsources information. Chase and Brett teach people how to kill deer. I provide color commentary. We've got a bow tech. We've got all kinds of really awesome people in the group, and we would love to have you over there. And so with that said, we got a couple other people who are helping to make this podcast possible. Spartan Forge, you've heard us talk about it a lot. We have got an episode coming up. Let's see, I think it'll be next week we're recording it, so it'll probably be the week following that it drops with Bill Thompson with some exciting announcements, some cool stuff coming down the pipe that you're really going to like. I guarantee it. I'm not going to ruin it for you, but you guys got to stay tuned. Spartan Forge is like Google for deer hunting. Think about the ability to say, Google, where are the deer based on today's situation? Spartan Forge goes and takes AI, predictive software, and spits out the answer for you just based on where you're at and all the conditions. They GPS tagged hundreds of deer, have millions of data points. They cleaned it all up, and they've created a predictive software that can help you make the best decision in the woods. And Chase and I both found, and in fact our Patreon group found it as well, that it was quite accurate. It was very helpful, and I've enjoyed using it already.
Yeah, we went back and looked at some past data, especially from our kills this past season, and a lot of it was right in line with where our kills were. So I'm really looking forward to getting to use it this season, have a whole season under the belt with it, And I know Bill is super excited and antsy and ready to get this thing out for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And so if you're interested in trying it, here's the deal. The price of his software is going to go up as they roll out all these new and exciting features. He's talked about this on the podcast numerous times. It could reach upwards of $70 a year. But if you use the promo code Chasing Tails right now, that's Chasing Tails, Tales, you can lock in for life, forever, $20 a year. And I promise you, if you knew what's coming down the pipe, that's going to be the steal of the freaking century. So that's all I'm going to say on that, because I am prone to leaking way too much information. But we'd also like to thank Tethered Nation. Tethered is an amazing partner. In fact, one of the earliest partners of the show. They believed in us back when it was just Chase and I talking to each other and listening to it for downloads. So we're glad to have them on board, whether it's the Phantom Saddle, the Predator platform, or any of the awesome accessories that they offer. You can guarantee that you're getting a safe, effective, lightweight climbing system that can take your deer hunting to the next level. I don't know of a single piece of equipment outside of the Thermacell that has changed the way that Chase and I hunt more.
Yeah, and they just dropped, what was it, the Phantom XL recently, and I think they've got some other stuff coming down the line to drop as well. They just had their big event there in Minnesota. The Tethered team did, so I think that guys and gals are gonna be really happy with what's coming down the pipe.
Yeah, and I'll just say this: you might want to check the YouTube channel pretty frequently in the coming weeks. That's all I got to say about it. We're just gonna say that right there. There's some cool shit coming. So with that, we're not going to talk about sponsors anymore. But guys, go show those people some love. Let them know we sent you. They are helping us bring you more content and doing more each and every week. So here's the deal. Chase and I kind of have this tradition, whereas we go into every season, we do this like goals, expectations, bold predictions, and every year it's an awesome thing to do. And this is the first year that I wasn't able to go back and listen to what we said last year. So Chase, do you remember what our bold predictions were for last deer season?
No, actually I don't. I think part of mine was like getting deer on camera last year. That was part of mine.
Well, and you did get the biggest deer on camera last year.
Yeah, I did get a big deer on camera. That YouTube video has actually done pretty good.
Yeah, it has.
So hindsight's always 20/20. Like I said, the when I actually did kill my big deer, it would have been great to have gotten that on camera. I had like a camera issue that morning, and I was like, I'm not taking the camera. And of course, what goes down. So.
Yeah,
it is what it is. That's all part of it.
Dude, last year I pulled the trigger 5 times and I got it on film 0. So
right. Yeah, you had some camera malfunctions and everything else. So
all kinds of things, man. I mean, if it could go wrong, I mean, self-filming. I mean, I'm not sitting here like saying, like tooting our own horn or anything, but it is brutal to self-film and get a good quality video put together for you guys. And so, you guys have been great though, as things have gone wrong, from cameras locking up and corrupting SD cards to simply Walter picking trees that are way too big for his camera arms and then killing a deer out of it. It's just been one thing after another. But, you guys come here for our pretty faces, not deer. So, you're covered either which way. But, I will brush up on what the bold predictions were for last year. But why don't we kind of outline... I kind of like saving bold predictions for last. So kind of, what are your goals and expectations going into this deer season? Because there's a lot planned for this year.
Yeah. There definitely is a lot planned. As everybody knows, I hunt a mix between private and public. I have yet to get a daggum reissue this year. It's just I call it my humbling experience, because every week I pull it up and it says unsuccessful. and it's just unsuccessful. But that's just the way it is. I know with the redraws, they're tricky, and some of these quota hunts I'm putting in for are like highly sought after anyways. So I'm sure there's plenty of people putting in for them. Quota wise, I have a real good buddy of mine from work. We hunt a lot together. He actually drew a quota this year, place where I killed my big buck back in 2019, around the same time of year. And we are, I think it's like a 3-day, it's like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday archery hunt there. That is definitely has been on my mind. Him and I are planning on going out there soon. He's been really busy. I've been talking with him like, hey, we need to get out there, get some cameras out, because in the past we've never really done that on a quota hunt. We've kind of just always gone in like the day before, did a quick scout, found some areas, set up, and I just got lucky that year's bumped that buck with that doe. And gonna attack that a little bit differently this time, do some more scouting, boots on the ground, cameras, and maybe get some intel prior to the hunt before we get in there and get ready for our 3-day hunt. And we had some areas last time that we scouted that we just didn't get to. I mean, I killed that buck the first hour of the hunt, so
there wasn't a whole lot to be done.
There wasn't a whole lot to be done after that, or to go back and scout or anything like that. And I've hunted it. I think that was the second time I've hunted that for deer. I've hunted it for turkey before, but and in a lot of these quota hunts and WMAs, they're constantly changing anyways. I mean, a lot of them are planted pines and everything else, and a lot of times you just don't know what you're going to get when you go in there. If something's been cut the previous year or not, or everything's a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker in those areas from what I've found. So one of my goals there is just to approach it kind of like how I would any other thing, is getting cameras in there, maybe finding a target deer if possible, but if not, just finding some good areas to set up in. I know in that particular hunt, they can be with does at that point. Like it's kind of like pre-rut a little bit, and there are some does coming in, so that's always good for an archery hunt, especially early season like that. Because generally you don't find that too much in my area. It's probably a month after that or somewhere around there. So that'll be good for that quota hunt. Private land, I'm always looking for a big deer. I mean, that's generally, well, on one of them, I'm really focused on like finding a particular deer and going after it. There was one last year I know that made it. A lot of people got to see on my cell phone where he was within 15 yards, but on the other side of the fence, couldn't shoot. And that's a deer I've been chasing for over 3 years now. But it was good. I mean, I got to lay eyes on him. I know he made it through the season from trail camera intel, and to my estimates, he's either 6.5 or 7.5 years old this year. So I don't know what he'll look like this year. And then finding, like I said, I killed that one deer in there last year. The big buck, he was the king of the hill in there last year. So I'm hoping maybe something else is going to move in since he's out of there. I've had a couple of cameras out in there. Hadn't had much out in there yet, and there's definitely some good young deer in there right now that have potential for next year. So finding a deer in there is one of my goals. I'm going to start just getting cameras everywhere in there. I hunt in there with my father-in-law. He's fixing to put out a ton of cameras. We kind of tag team it for the most part. We still kind of do our own thing for the most part hunting-wise, but as far as cameras and stuff like that, we're always sharing intel with each other, trying to figure out what deer we got. The other one is it's a hunting club. I've been in it for, I think this is my 14th year. Yeah, it will be, because I killed my first deer in there in December of 2007. So this will be my 14th hunting season for everybody. Yep, 14th hunting season. And that area, I mean, it's a hunting club. The deer, there's potential in there, but the deer don't get quite as big in there. It's a lot of planted pines. There's not during the summer there's food because there's agriculture in the area, but as the season kind of rolls on, it's more just like browse and stuff. So it holds a ton of does. We call it the doe factory because it's just one of those areas where you can just go see does for days. I've had sits in there where I've seen 40 plus does in a sit before. But during the rut is the time to be in there because you're drawing in bucks from everywhere because there's so many does in there. And every now and then you'll catch a buck that might be a resident buck that you might want to go after. But to me, it's always been more of like I never really chased a deer in there like an entire season or anything. It's always been I'll catch some on camera before season, they might disappear, and then you've just got a ton of bucks that you may have just never seen before show up during the rut. So I kind of hunt that more during the rut, and the rut in there is kind of that last week of bow, muzzleloader time, maybe through like the first week of rifle season, but I won't be around the first week or maybe even the second week of muzzleloader because I'm going to Missouri. And going to be hunting with Brett Mashburn, who we talked about earlier. That'll be, I think I'm going to leave Halloween night. After Halloween and all that stuff's over with the kids. I always like to do Halloween and stuff with the kids and everything. I'm still the family man, so my kids are still young. I'm still going to rock that with them. And after that's over with, then I'd be headed out that night. Probably planning on a week up there. On some public land in Missouri. Been e-scouting that quite a bit. I know there's good potential there. Brett's hunted it for a couple of years now, so he's got some experience on it. Been going back and forth with him on that, so I'm looking forward to that hunt. I always look forward to the Midwest, especially during their rut. Hopefully we'll get some good weather this year. That as far as going up there, I mean, if it's 130, 140 class, I'm going to be letting one fly.
Yeah, I bet you are.
Up there, more than likely. I think whenever we had our, when we did that roundtable discussion, I think I mentioned something about I was going to kill a 140 this year. That's my bold prediction. Florida, that's... Right. Yeah, I mean that's really a stretch for Florida. That's like
man.
That's like a once in a lifetimer in Florida for the most part. I know. Well, I know very few people that have a 140 class or better in Florida. I should have.
James.
I should have one.
Yeah.
My father-in-law has one.
Oh, does he?
Yep. He's got a 146. It's 11 point. But he's been hunting Florida for. It took him 30 years to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It took him over 30 years when he finally killed one that size. And it was a fluke deal. It was one of those fluke deals. But, go there. We have the Patreon hunt lined up and all that stuff. I'm hoping I can get up there once or twice between now and then. Maybe if it's maybe a day that who knows, maybe when Brett's going to come up there as well. Meet up with him, do some scouting for our Patreon members. I'm not super concerned if I do anything on that hunt. I just going up to have a good time, to meet everybody, and if I get to hunt some, great for that hunt. And Brett and I were doing that Bowhunters League this year, so that's going to be new for me. It's going to make me take the bow a lot. I may not
give everybody, because you mentioned that once before, give everybody kind of like a little bit of a recap as to what that is, because I think we're working to get them on the podcast, aren't we?
Yeah. We're wanting to get them on the podcast. Basically, the Bowhunter League, it's a team of 3 people. And we were struggling to find like a third person for the Bowhunter League. Brett did find somebody. I think it's a fella from Tennessee. I don't even know the guy. We've kind of texted a little bit back and forth. But it's a team of 3 to be able to get in the Bowhunters League. They have a team of 3, and then the team of 3 can do something which it's Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee. So the chances of us winning the team of 3 competition, because it's the whole U.S. basically, and wherever there's whitetail. So we're not going to compete with a team that there's 3 hunters from Iowa. You know what I mean? Like it's not even. It'd be better if it was kind of broke down that for like South and Midwest or whatever, like kind of by region. I think, but that's just the way that is. But for the team of 3, you have a team of 3 where you can win something. There's a individual thing for your state that you can win. Like if you kill the biggest buck in your state, you get something. If you're in the league, that's individual. And then there's another category which is called King of the Tines, And then that's just total inches of deer that you tally up during the season. So for somebody from Florida, I mean, that could benefit you because we get $5 in the state of Florida. So you kill 5 100-inch bucks with your bow, and it all has to be with a bow, and it's free range, all that good stuff. But it all has to be with a bow, and you get your 5 tags here. You go to Missouri, you got 6 buck tags for the season, and the top 10, I believe, from that actually go on a hunt together somewhere at the end of the season for that. So it's absolutely free to enter. There's a ton of prizes. I think there's weekly prizes in there. I think the guy from Florida last year won it with like 105 inches or something. Was what?
Well, dude, you could crush that with your coal bucks. I mean, you shoot 2 or 3 of those a year, right? I mean, that's
yeah, maybe. I mean, the last time I did a competition, it was like Christmas for me because of all the stuff I won, and it was crazy.
It was ridiculous.
Everybody was all mad. I mean, won a bow, won a rifle, won a free mount. Yeah. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, it was the season to remember. But this season, it could be the season to forget. Who knows? Season I don't want to remember. But yeah, it'll be fun. It'll make me carry the bow a lot more because, like I said, it has to be with a bow. So who knows? I might be rocking the bow the whole season. I don't know at this point, depending on how it goes. So, I mean, I don't plan on being tagged out by the Patreon hunt, but you never know. You know what I mean?
Especially with you, dude.
Yeah. So if I'm tagged out,
it seems like when you get a hot hand, dude, you just start tearing through it.
It'll be like, all right, well, I'm gonna come up and may film for you or film for somebody. You know what I mean? For those days. And get to hang out with everybody and meet everybody for that. So I'm looking forward to that. Brett, I know Brett's looking forward to that because he's the one that asked me if I wanted to do it, and he was big into it as far as that. So I've got quite a bit going on there hunting wise, and like I said, a couple of the properties that I hunt are within 15 minutes of my house. So I do a lot of like short hunts and things like that, especially if I've got good intel. And I don't know, I may not hunt as much here recently. I've gotten to the point where I have realized that I don't have to hunt every day. Like I don't have to.
Right.
Like there are definitely days where it's not as good. So heck, Spartan Forge might help me out with that even more.
Yeah.
Now that we got Spartan Forge coming in. So I think that I really like picking and choosing my days a little bit more, going when the conditions are right. Just listening to some of the information from Bill and things like that of like when big bucks are moving, your best chances of killing them and stuff like that. It really kind of shined a light to what I'm like, okay, well, yeah, maybe I don't need to be in there on these particular times. Maybe I'm blowing the area up, and that's why I'm not getting on that deer or whatnot. But yeah, that's what I got going on, man, this season. And as far as goals for this year, man, is have fun. I mean, I don't want it. I've always wanted hunting's always been fun to me, so I don't want it to turn into something that's not fun. I'm going to take the camera when I can take the camera if it works out. One thing that I just really enjoy doing, man, is hunting with my buddies. So whether it's you, whether it's Brandon, whether it's my buddy Mike, whether it's Brett now, I mean, I enjoy that camaraderie of being with other like-minded guys, like going out. And I did the solo thing for a long time. I enjoyed the solo thing as well, where it was all about me and everything else. But I just like being able to share intel with people and bounce ideas back and forth. And the thing with Brandon Ogden has wanted to kill a registry buck for so long now. Like that has been one of his goals. And he can't even really explain it. He's like, and I'm like, well, my goal this year is to get him on a registry buck.
Oh, nice.
This year, I'm going to try my hardest to get him on a registry. And he does a lot of the. I mean, this man, I'm talking about, like he lives and breathes hunting. he puts in the miles, the scouting, the e-scouting, the cameras, all that stuff. So if there's any little thing that I can do that might help him at all, other than what he's already doing, that's my goal is to help him out. And the thing is when we talk about if they're not there, they're not there. So that's the thing. You can't force one to be there or anything like that. It's just one of those things that's going to happen at some point. But you never know. If I can help him out in any way, I'm going to do that. And then just be helpful in our Patreon group with people with questions and all that during the season, and just helping other people be successful. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I really enjoy other people having success in the woods, and I just want to kind of spread the sport of hunting, man, and get as many people involved that really have a passion for the sport, and that we can keep it going.
Oh yeah, man, for sure. I think I think that Brandon's one of those dudes who, you talk about the camaraderie. He seems like he's always smiling and laughing.
Oh yeah,
and you combine that with a good work ethic. I fly solo just because. I mean, I haven't met anybody who's willing to do the crazy stuff that I'm willing to do, in this area. And so, if you're listening to this, you're lonely and you'd like a hunting buddy and you're willing to do crazy stuff in the woods, not crazy stuff with a person, but crazy stuff in the
right.
in the woods, hit me up. But I'm envious of that camaraderie because you got a core little group there, man, you get to hunt with, and that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, like I said, I met Brandon last year through the podcast. Actually, he saw a post on social media, and then we started talking back and forth. And I was like, this dude, I can tell he's ate up with hunting and hunts in my area. So we met up and hit it off, and kind of got. We're both like jokesters and stuff like that, back and forth and everything. So. It's been great, man. It's been great getting to know him. And like I said, we scouted today probably for 4 hours or so in areas that he wanted to, because he doesn't live around here, so he has to drive up when he can. And I'm like, well, today's all about you. Let's get it figured out for you, and some areas that we've scouted together. So it's really cool.
That's awesome, man. You got a cool year coming up for you. I'm excited, man. I think you in Missouri. Am I correct in my understanding? You're gonna have a cameraman in Missouri?
Yeah. I'm hoping to have. Yes, I will have a cameraman for hopefully part of the hunt, and at least for sure capturing a ton of B-roll and things like that, and the whole trip experience and all that. So yes, I will have that.
So what I'm hearing you say is that the listeners and the viewers of the podcast should come to expect a Chasing Tales video from Missouri.
Yes.
Is that okay? All
yes,
right.
That's the goal, is to put out just a quality video for Missouri.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's going to be a good time. I cannot wait. I am probably 1 year away from being able to join you in these escapades out to the Midwest, and I am chomping at the bit to get out there. But my season's going to be kind of fun. I'm kind of doing. I don't know. This feels weird to say because I don't want it to sound like I'm bragging, because I'm not. But I'm doing a lot of the leg work this year for the Patreon hunt. It happens to be a place that I'm going to be hunting this year, but it also is kind of close to the house. And Craig Kroom and I, you know what? You know what? I just kind of spit in Craig's face because we just agreed the other day that we were going to tag team. Here I am saying, I wish I had a hunting buddy. Sorry, Craig.
Podcast.
Oh, I got to cut that out.
Tag team a certain WMA.
Yeah. Craig's going to get a good chuckle when he hears this on his morning commute tomorrow. But sorry, buddy. But I'm happy to say I now have a hunting buddy that will be tag teaming the WMA that the Patreon hunt will be on. And this is going to be a good time because, Brett came on the podcast and several other people have come on the podcast and talked about this idea of selling out, right? Like selling out on this piece of property or selling out to understand this and that. And I think it's one of those things where I've kind of found where it's worth. I'm an Andy May wannabe, and so like I look at these situations and I think, what can I do to what can I do to maximize my potential on the weekend? And so that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm selling out to a couple places, and that'll be Georgia and Florida. and I'll be hunting the same places I was hunting in Georgia last year, diving deeper into those and kind of picking them apart and picking apart one, maybe two WMAs a little closer to the house in Florida. But I mean, dude, I'm kind of in this weird space because I've always been if it's brown, it's down kind of guy. And then last year I killed 2 decent bucks, and I'm hunting places with good potential. And we're probably going to lose half the viewership when I say this, but I'm kind of thinking I need to find a good big buck and get after him.
Yeah, man. Hey, and your brown, it's down, is probably still going to kick in. So
yeah, that's true.
That's hard to kick. That is hard to kick, as the brown is down for sure.
Yeah, that's true. That is fair. I think you're right. I think it's brown, it's down will still come in. And the good news is, in both states I hunt, I can shoot kind of whatever I want to the first tag or 2 or 3 or 4 in Florida. But the areas I'm going, I've got this potential to find like quality deer. I'm not saying they're going to be Pope and Young guys, but unless I get an itchy trigger finger, then realistically speaking, these areas are going to produce quality deer, and I'm going to try my best this year, and I'm going to document this the entire way. We'll get to that in just a second, but I'm going to try and find some of these big deer, try and apply the things that we've learned on this podcast. I started this podcast, you've joined largely to talk to people, to learn from them, selfishly trying to figure this out. And it's time for me to kind of apply some of those things. I killed some deer last year, and I think it's time now that I start applying some of those things that we've learned. So going to be hunting South Georgia with Bo Lease. I'm going to be hunting some WMAs in Florida with Craig, and I am really stinking excited about this year. I think it's going to be very interesting what we learn this year about those places, and I cannot wait for the camaraderie of the first ever Patreon hunt. I keep saying that over and over again, but it's going to be nuts.
Yeah, you've kind of been the catalyst for that, and definitely are putting in the work for it for sure, getting everything ready, and like you mentioned, it's going to be a great time. So I'm looking forward to it. We've never done anything like this before, so I know it'll end up being epic, at least for Walter epic, that is.
Yeah. That's true. I'm easy to please, though, so that's a bit unfair, but yeah. It doesn't take much to get me excited. Chase has seen that firsthand.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we've got coming this year. I am excited to announce that as of last week, I am the proud new owner of a Sony AX53. I got the same camera you started with last year. That is solely due to the Patreon subscribers that we have, the growth in Patreon, which has just been unreal. We put out a call to action last year when my Panasonic suddenly developed an allergy to shocks in the woods. If you're new to the podcast, last December I had a really nice 8-point show up 45 yards broadside, and as I pulled the trigger, the percussion froze the camera up, it corrupted the SD card, and I lost all the footage from the entire weekend from that point on. And so I've got a 4K camcorder now that I can take, and I plan on taking on every one of my hunts. I've got a rain fly for the tree that is public land friendly, and so if it's raining, I'm going to take that. I've got a GoPro for a second angle. Man, we're going to take the video portion of this to the next level this year, and I have got to say I am really excited about taking you guys along for the ride.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to, like I said, goal is for me is if I can get 2 deer on film this year, that'll be great. If more comes, then that'll be good as well. I'd really like to be able to contribute to the YouTube channel a little bit more. I might have more free time this off season because I don't have any school. School's over
huge
for me. Yeah. I spent a lot of time on school the last 2.5 years. And heck, when I finally got done with school, even afterwards, it was kind of like, I was like, man, what do I do with all this time? Like all of a sudden I had all this free time, and it was almost freaking me out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I've been there.
And I started thinking about like just other stuff, and I was like, I need to start focusing on hunting. Hunting's coming up, and I can utilize this time to be able to provide some more content, get out in the woods some more. And I'm looking forward to that this year because I really think I'll be able to contribute more as far as videos and things like that.
Oh man, I'd love to have you. I mean, you document, well, you'll be able to document, but you see some awesome things, some really great deer for the area, and having you be able to capture that and bring it to our Florida audience, which is so much a backbone of what we're going to be doing in the coming months and years. I just cannot wait for folks to be able to, follow along and see relatable content, because one of the things we hear just, it seems like all the time, is bring us more Florida content. And that's what we do. I went into this year kind of thinking I was going to sell out to Georgia, but you guys want to see Florida, and so we're going to make that happen as well. I'm going to do a lot of hunting in Florida. But I'm excited for it. And I think while we're talking about what we're excited about, why don't we talk about some bold predictions here? Because this is the part that people listen to, not only like seriously, but they hold us to it. In the Marco Polo group, they are frequently like, ribbing us about, or Nick Chandler will be like, "Oh, I thought you were going to kill a Pope and Young this year." And so, I think this is the thing that everybody looks forward to most when it comes to the preseason for us. So I'm going to kick us off. I'm going to do 2 bold predictions for this upcoming year. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. I think my first bold prediction is that you and I combined will shoot, kill, and record on film no less than 3 really good bucks this year.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
So I think we're going to end up carrying the camera more than we think, and a little bit of luck, Lady Luck's going to go in our favor. You're going to see 3 great deer killed on film this year by Chasing Tails, which would beat the all-time record 300%.
Right.
Second, all right. I've been thinking long and hard about this one, but this is piping hot because we've got right now 15 people. It looks like about, and it could add, we could detract a little bit, but it's about 15 people are in that Patreon group for the hunt, and I'm going to say that 328 inches of antler will be killed on that hunt.
Okay. That's an odd number, but I like it.
I'm not hedging anything, man. I'm going all in. Not 300 plus or anything like that. I think 328 inches of antler will be killed on that 3-4 day hunt by everybody that goes out there. I'm that confident in Brett's abilities.
Yes. I'm confident in our guys, and I think that'll. I mean, if a third of our guys kill something, that's definitely attainable.
Yeah, so. I mean, 5 guys, 50 inches. I mean, you're sitting there, that's 250.
Yeah, 50 inches, 60, 70 inches, so.
Yeah. You and Brett both have those lucky horseshoes, so you're probably going to stumble into a Pope and Young or 2. So.
You got to think about all the work that goes into those lucky horseshoes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
There's a lot of work that goes into that.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what creates luck.
Those are some good. Those are definitely the second one's outside the box on the bold prediction for sure. So I like it. So I guess it's my turn to have some bold predictions.
Crank it out, son.
I guess I'll have one for myself, and that will be that I kill 5 deer this year with a bow.
Whoa.
5 deer this year with a bow. I don't even know what my record is. It's 3 or 4, I believe, and that included a doe or so. So
okay.
I'm gonna break my personal record and kill 5 deer with a bow this year. Between Florida,
that's intense.
Missouri, 5 deer with a bow. That's the bold prediction for myself. My other bold prediction is that you will be successful in both states this year. So you will kill 2 bucks, or a buck in Florida, and you will also kill a buck in Georgia this year.
So a repeat of last year. We're gonna add some validity to Walter's hunting game. Do it 2 years in a row.
And we'll do, and one of those will be over 100 inches. I gotta make it bold, dude.
That is bold. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Vegas wouldn't even take your money.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God. Yeah, half the listener base just spit out their coffee. Everybody knows good and dang well I'm not killing something over 100 inches.
Oh, it's coming, so get ready.
Oh, it is. Yeah, there's
coming.
No lack of effort, man. I mean,
Georgia, there's a good chance in Georgia you can make that happen. So,
yeah.
And Florida, heck, the WMA you're hunting, the potential's there.
Yeah, and then that other little honey hole that dude dropped on me.
Yep.
I mean, that could predict. You know what? That might prove to be the least bold prediction by the end of the season. This might be like when we said Nick Chandler was going to whoop everybody's butt by like 40 inches.
There you go.
Wasn't that what we said? Yeah.
I don't remember how much it was by, but I knew that he was the winner.
That's right. Yeah.
He took it to heart.
He did. Heart of Florida. Yeah, no, it's awesome, man. I cannot wait. I'm going to do a better job of keeping up with these bold predictions, but I'm looking forward to the Patreon hunt. I'm looking forward to hunting with you this upcoming year. I'm thrilled that you and Brandon are going to be filming this year. Like that makes me so happy, because one of my favorite things to do is, like, right now when it's not hunting season, is to pull up YouTube. And I know this sounds conceited, but it's really not. Pull up YouTube and go back through the past hunts, just because little things escape your memory over time, and being able to go back and watch those. That's the primary reason why I got into self-filming. Y'all's benefit is just like a secondary reason as to why I do it. I love the fact that you guys enjoy the videos, but I just adore going back and looking at those videos, because they're going to be there forever, dude. Our kids are going to be able to watch us hunting, and our grandkids are going to be able to watch us hunting, and that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, no doubt. There's, like you said, I've been a ton of cool things I've seen in the woods, and I wish I had those on camera so I could go back and relive those moments in high definition.
Yeah, in high def. Yep. All right, man. Well, I think the only thing we have left to do, and I wanted to do this at the beginning of the podcast, but Patreon wouldn't let me sign in, but we've got a pile of people we need to thank for signing up for Patreon. I finally got logged in. Not sure what happened, so I'm going to run down a laundry list of people. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right. Eric Shiver, Paul McClure, Dustin Fields, Cy Sims, Kyle Shaner. I've got several others in the queue, but those are the ones that popped up for the most recent. I run a little report, and it tells me who we need to give shout-outs to on the podcast. So thank you to all of you for signing up to support the show. I mean, we couldn't do it at the scale that we do without you guys, but we love the fact that you guys are signing up. Don't forget to sign up or join the Marco Polo group if your tier has that benefit. If you're waiting on a hat, those are still on back order, but I will get those out to you as soon as they come in. But I think with that, Chase, guys, no matter what you do this upcoming week, do us one favor. Get outside and enjoy the great outdoors.